So, we'll start as we did yesterday with a short relaxation, generating a strong positive motivation. Then, for those who are okay with prayers, we'll do the prayers. And then what I need you to do then is just reflect back on your motivation, settle back, and we'll do a review, but a slightly different review. So, short relaxation, strong motivation, prayers if you're up for that, and then instead of coming out of your meditation, just go back in, and we'll do a review. Okay? Everybody happy with that? Yeah. I like to make it complicated, you know. So, in your own time, use the 2-breath method if that's helpful, or getting your posture right. And then just without altering the rhythm of your breath, simply letting go of tension on the out breath. And as you're letting go of tension, you can just slightly adjust your posture. And then after a half dozen breaths or so, noticing on the in-breath that your mind is becoming brighter. So in your own time. Never skip this step, never. And analytically, generating a strong positive motivation for this afternoon. And when that motivation is as strong as you can make it, drop the analysis and hold it with your mind stably. And so we can do some prayers. Sangye chudam soke chanam la janju bardu dagni kyapsu chi dagi jin soke pe sonam ki drola penchir sangye drupar sho sangye chudam soke chanam la janju bardu dagni kyapsu chi dagi jin soke pe sonam ki Rola penchir sange druparsho. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. And the same as with your motivation, when you finish saying or repeating the prayers, just hold that feeling for a few seconds, at least a few seconds. Hold that feeling stably. Helpful. Okay. So going back into meditation, checking your posture, relaxing. Brightening the mind. and then allowing your body to breathe as it wishes to. So this review now is in the form of questions. And so what will be needed is strong analytical meditation from you. So to start with, internally, how would you define Buddhist meditation? Don't worry if you forget or you can't come up, just give it a go. How would you define it internally? How would you explain to someone else the purpose of Buddhist meditation as opposed to secular meditation? How would you explain it? In your own words, what is the role of motivation and dedication in Buddhist meditation? What is the role of motivation and dedication? In what way can Buddhist meditation positively impact on your life experiences? What's my understanding of the difference between analytical meditation and stabilizing meditation? What's my understanding? When I consider posture, can I remember the 4 different types of posture the Buddha taught? And how much do I remember of the different points of posture? What are the benefits to me of having a trusted program of study that gives me a good overview and depth of teaching of Buddha Dharma? What is the benefit to me of a trusted study program? Yesterday, I spent some time talking about the two main types of obscurations to meditation: excitement and dullness or laxity. How does this manifest in your meditations? When you meditate, how do they manifest? How can you recognize these two obscurations? Can you bring to mind some of the methods we discussed on dealing with an excited mind or a dull, sleepy mind? Try to bring it to mind. What methods did we discuss? If your mind is full of thoughts, wandering off, anxiety, if your mind is excited, what of all the methods we discussed, what was your favorite? Which one did you think would be useful to you? Of all the methods discussed for a sleepy mind, which methods did you think would be useful? in this review, which area do you deem to be quite important to you or the most important to you? Bring it to mind. Let go of mental thought. Focus. And mentally dedicate the energy you've achieved in doing this review towards achieving your motivation. Thank you. And if you remembered a lot of that, very good. If you were sitting there going, oh my Lord, what were we doing? I can't remember. Not to worry. Not to worry. Why? Because teachings on meditation run counter to how we've lived, not just this lifetime, but many lifetimes. Learning these things is not like going to university or college or school, where one level of knowledge is then built, another level of knowledge is built upon that, and then another level of knowledge is built upon that. A lot of meditation runs counterintuitive to most of us. And so you need to hear these teachings time and time and time again until they really take. It's not because you're stupid, it's not because you've got a bad memory, it's just because we haven't got the habit of listening this way. This is not normal knowledge. It is knowledge, but it's counter knowledge almost. So any questions, ideas, comments about the review? Can't see everybody, but no? All right, so you did some homework last night. I'm sure you all did the homework. So just think about the homework that you did. Were you able to employ some of what we taught yesterday within your meditations? Was it difficult? Was it easy? Did you forget? How did it go? No one? Oh my goodness. Nah, I need some feedback. It's very hot here. I'll fall asleep without feedback. So somebody show mercy on me and give me some feedback. Sorry, hi.
Hi. When I was doing meditation on the breath, I felt like my mind was quite dull.
Dull?
Yeah, so I was using the technique of opening my eyes a little bit more to let more light in, which seemed to help. But it did happen quite a lot, so I kept going back to that and trying.
That's good. Don't worry. The fact that you noticed it, as I said to you, if that happens 100 times, that's not a problem. If you notice it 100 times, that's all. This is, like I say, this type of knowledge, Buddha Dharma knowledge, it's not the same as going to school and college. I think that you almost have to deconstruct your habitual way of doing things and then reconstruct it. This is why it takes us a while to really grasp this. You know, some people are very lucky, they grasp it quickly. Other people like me, takes a while. Takes a while. What helps, of course, what helps in this is having a kind of faith. But I don't mean, sort of blind faith. in Buddha Dharma, if you think something's worthwhile, then what they say, do you admire this type of way of thinking? So the first type of faith they have is like an admiring faith, admiring. And then it's like, after a while, the more you meditate, the more you learn, it grows a wee bit. And it's, instead of just admiring it afar, there's a kind of wish, I wish I could do that. I wish I could think like that. And it's like an aspirational type of feeling. And then with continuous teaching, continuous meditation, that changes into a type of conviction. This is what I want to do. This has helped me more than anything else. I'm going to stick with this. When that starts growing, things do become easier. Things do become easier. And you know that in ordinary life, if you've got faith in what you're doing, it's easier. But in Dharma, sometimes faith can be tricky unless you understand what it is. Some people, they just replace God with the Buddha. Not helpful, really. Not helpful. So you're looking at admiring, really. And that helps. And then kind of wishing, I would like to do that. I would like to be like that. And then one step further, you keep doing it and suddenly you're convinced because you know it, you can feel the benefit. So 100 times doesn't matter. Thank you. Thank you, Zoe. Who else is taking pity on me? Oh, good. Right. Who's next?
Hello, it's Merve. Hello, can you see me?
Who have I got?
Merve Christina.
Oh, hi, Merv. Yeah.
Hello. So I think it was Zoe speaking. I didn't see her, but I think I recognize her voice. But so I did the meditation on breath, and then also the impermanence and death. So meditation on breath, first of all, I have to say big thank you, because since Saturday when we started, I really struggled with meditation on breath and single point of concentration, and it has improved a lot, seriously, from 2 seconds to maybe 5 seconds. so I can stay focused on it. So as I was doing it today, the antidotes I was using was just becoming a mindful of the topic. Right. So immediately when I started wandering off, I was like, oh, here we go. And then, remembering I'm here to do this, which is
this is called, let me just integrate, this is called refocusing.
Oh, okay.
Refocusing technique. Very good.
Okay, refocusing. It's not mindful. No.
Oh, yes. It includes mindfulness. It's just when we do a little bit on shamatha, this becomes very important. Refocusing on the topic. Refocusing on the topic, yes. Very good.
Okay, and then on the second meditation, it was actually my breath that was my antidote to impermanence and death. So if I started again, not staying focused on the topic, I was like, okay, let's have a little, reminder here, the breath, and then I could continue again what I was meditating on.
You cannot go wrong focusing on the breath. You really can't.
No.
I think of all the fancy meditations that we do, especially in Tibetan Buddhism, all come, for me, nothing more effective than the breath. Thank you.
Thank you.
Diane?
In the meditation on the breath, my mind was quite focused on the breathing, but I did notice that there were certain times when, for example, the thinker looking at the thoughts rather than looking at your own mind, and about the sky, your thoughts just passing through the sky. Although my mind was on that and I kept focused, I wasn't distracted, I felt my body was getting excited. So I could feel an excitement in my body that I've not felt before. And
a lot of different sensations can come.
Yeah.
An excitement, sometimes even a tenseness, a feeling of falling or a feeling of elevating. This is really to do. I remember taking some teachings from Lama Alan Wallace on this, and he says this is mostly just a rearranging of energies moving in different directions, not to worry about it. If it becomes an obstacle, then you employ one of the techniques, but it's nothing to worry about. It literally is just energy changing. The mind, see what you're asking the mind to look at itself. It's not easy, you know, and I'm sure your body's going, what's going on here, you know, because what do we do when we want to look or think about something? It's always something external. But here you're asking the mind to look at the mind. And that can be a wee bit of a shock to the energy system, eh? But it's nothing to worry about. It's
and
good.
with the perfect, with human life, I got quite emotional with some of the things about animals being hurt, and I could feel an emotion just really coming up. And although I was keeping my mind on the meditation, the feeling, I was aware of the feelings that were coming up. So
Well, this particular topic can do that.
Yeah.
The problem with emotions is we tend to see them as very positive. In meditation, mostly what emotion does is it takes you away from the topic. That's mostly what it does. You think you're still on topic, but really you're invested heavily on the emotion. So I don't think you should deny emotion, but I don't think you should give it the value that we would normally give it. And that requires a wee bit of detachment. This is the opposite to our habit. If we have a feeling of joy, if we have a feeling of sadness, you know, animals dying, puppies being, that's just what we do. And then we lock onto that. So what I'm saying is, in meditation, mostly what emotion does is it takes you away from the topic. But you should never ignore emotion. Emotions are important, they're part of who we are. But at this moment, at this time, in this place, it's not your topic. So what do? You basically acknowledge, mentally acknowledge, deal with it later, let it go. It requires a wee bit of a detachment. Again, this sounds counterintuitive to the way we behave, but it's valuable. It doesn't make you cold-hearted. What it does is it gives you more choice. Emotions tend to take over your thoughts and ideas and movements. Not in meditation, don't allow it. Acknowledge it, let it go back to it at an appropriate time. But it's human. See, what that is just being human, isn't it? It's just being human. If you've lost someone close to you, it might be quite a difficult meditation to do.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? Linda?
Right. I did a meditation on appreciating human life. And I used a mixture of investigation and also just stabilization, and that worked quite well. And when I was thinking about human life, I was thinking how fortunate we are at the moment, when a lot of people are really suffering under COVID, but that we are getting so much in the way of teaching, so much in the way of Dharma. And I did feel quite sad about that, because I felt that I was benefiting from something that was really, really difficult for some other people. But then I thought about thinking about it in a more positive way and rejoicing in the opportunity that has been given to actually think about these things and have the time and the space to think about them. And then I used some of the stability that you were talking about the other day, Ven Mary, to just focus on that feeling of rejoicing, and that felt really good.
It's very beneficial.
And then I did the second one on emptiness, because it just seemed to follow.
Emptiness, right? Okay.
From what we were doing. And I had more difficulty with that, because I always do with emptiness, but
Well, it's the ultimate response.
Yeah.
If you study the Dharma, it can answer almost every question.
But I gave it a go anyway.
Yeah, that shows your study and your practice. That's excellent, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Amanda?
Hi, Ven Mary.
Hiya.
Can I ask about something that I do and how it might fit in? When I'm reading Dharma books, I might read a verse or two or a paragraph or so, and then want to sit quietly with it,
Yes.
analysing, contemplating, and then stabilising. Now, is that just, would you call that doing that contemplating only, or could we put that in the realms of like a mini meditation, if you like? What do you think?
Okay. So we'll start with this basis. Is it positive when you're reading and you find something that you want to contemplate on analytically and then stabilize? Yes, of course. But imagine that before you read that book, you strongly motivated. If I find a passage in this book that I want to meditate on it, may it be for the benefit of all living beings without exception. And if you read the book with that motivation, would it be a stronger, more beneficial motivation? Yes. So let's say you motivated, you found the passage, you analysed, and you stabilised. Let's say you added to that a dedication. Where you're sitting, would that make it more powerful? Yes. If you were doing the whole thing in a really good posture, would that be even more beneficial? Yes.
Yes.
Is that okay?
So, yeah, that's
reasonable, isn't it?
That's good then.
Yes.
And can I ask something else? So what I find helpful is actually contemplating mindfulness and introspective awareness themselves in their own right, so to speak, that becomes very helpful in meditation to quickly find times of deviating into laxity or excitement.
Okay.
Then when it comes to the stabilizing placement time, it's like an essence or a space.
Yes.
Because if I go into emotion or thought, it becomes analytical again.
Okay.
Is that right? Is it like an essence or
it doesn't
a space?
it doesn't have to become analytical. A strong determination has an essence about it. So you concentrate on the essence. Yes. Yes. Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah. Rejoicing. A feeling of rejoicing occurs. You don't have to analyze it.
No.
Just focus. So, and if it's a feeling of spaciousness, that's very positive. It's very positive. So just settling into the spaciousness of it, very good. Very good. But it can be many things that occur to you. But when it occurs, even a strong determination, suddenly it comes and you just feel that. You feel when you're determined. You're not sitting there going, now, why am I so determined? Well, I'm determined to do this and this and that. No, it's not like that. It's the feeling of determination that everything else goes forward. Yeah. But if you've got, strong mindfulness, if you've had teachings on mindfulness that can help, very good. Really very good. I always think the main thing is to do what you set out to do. I think I've always thought that. My mind was always taking me off in 101 different ways, which I, of course, felt was so much more beneficial than sitting down doing meditation. So my mantra became, did I do what I set out to do? And anything in my mind that didn't do that, I just let that go, because that was my main problem, right? Thank you, Amanda. Anyone else? No? Okay. So one of the questions yesterday was, when there's an obstacle like pain or discomfort, what do you do in meditation? What do you do in meditation? Now, for most of us have had pain. Well, I would say all of us have had some sort of pain. And when pain occurs, generally there's things that you do. You may not have an aspirin bottle to hand, but there are things you can do. You know that already. Now imagine you're in meditation and you have some pain. I'd like you to spend, with a pen and paper, no more than 5 minutes. I'd like you to jot down what you do or what you think you could do if you suffer some form of pain or discomfort in meditation. Just on your own, 5 minutes, jot it down. We've all had pain, and much of what you would do outside of meditation, you can employ in some way in meditation. So you've got a meditation set up, you're halfway through, and you feel some discomfort, a bit of pain. In that moment, what do? Make some notes. Just 5 minutes, no more. Finishing in 1 minute. Thank you. Thank you. So let's teach each other, right? What do we employ if we have some pain, especially if pain occurs when we're in meditation? I mean, the type of pain you can get: stiffness, back pain. Back pain's kind of happens a lot. Neck pain, knees, you name it. What type of things have you done to try and alleviate?
Hello, hello, Ven Mary, Mervi.
Huh?
Hello, can you see me? Mervi?
Oh, hello, dear.
Hello. So, yes, I'm talking from experience because this is quite a big obstacle for me. So I have a physical pain, sciatica, which is quite, you know, if I try to sit, you know, you can imagine. So I have two things that I have learned. One is that if it starts really bothering me, I try not to put any energy, any attention to it. I try to refocus what I'm doing, and it works sometimes. But if it keeps creeping up constantly, depending on if I do many meditations and it's there, then I go lying down. That's really, you know, only option that have worked for me. So when I go lying down,
it's not an only option. It is a definite option. It's not a secondary option. It's not a poor option. It's a good option. You know,
yes.
it's a good option. The Buddha taught it. So that's excellent. I wouldn't downgrade lying down at all.
Okay, perfect. So that's really for me. That's I try to avoid it, but also to stay sitting down as much as possible. Yep. But I do occasionally, particularly if I do a lot of meditations, then I go, and I actually find it good because then I can, you know, there's a benefits in both, and I learn two different ways. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. That's excellent, Mary. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
When you say your name, I hear Mary. It's interesting. Because it's my name, I think. Okay, who else would like to share what they do? Diane?
Hi, Mary, it's Zoe. Oh,
Zoe? Have I got the wrong one? Okay.
Hi.
Hi,
things that I do, I suppose, are very similar to Mervy, really, in either acknowledging some pain and trying to return to the topic if it's a mild pain, but if it's quite severe or if it keeps returning, then I might alter my posture. But it was really interesting when you've just asked us to spend the 5 minutes, and things that I've jotted down are the difference between obviously being a physio, pain is bread and butter of the work, really, but and there's a very distinct difference between acute pain and chronic pain. So for acute pain, for example, there's a lot of the reason why we have pain is because it's like a danger, isn't it? So we get this fear behind us whenever we get pain, and so it was making me think about how our ego is trying to protect us from pain or distracting us from the meditation. And actually, is the pain in my neck, does it really warrant any attention, or is it just trying to distract me from the meditation?
It's interesting. It could be both. I'm from the school that thinks that if you've got pain, you have to deal with it. I mean, you just have to deal with it. This is my feeling. And you're right, acute pain sometimes is easier to deal with than chronic pain, because chronic pain is so tiring. It's exhausting. And as soon as it flares up again, it's like what you're in now, plus all the memories of what you've done over the years. And that is just exhausting. It's so tiring. And when that happens, it's so easy to just go into that laxity, that dull mind. Very easy. It's not denying the pain. The pain's there. So to know or even feel that it's something to do with the meditation. And you can try things, as you say, like posture, different postures. But when you have chronic pain, you've got difficulty. You've got this real difficulty.
And you know, if you get an itch as well, so it's not even painful, it's just a mild irritation.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder whether we can do the same with an itch as well. It might disappear on its own if you just take a couple of breaths, or if the memory's that strong of being stung when you were younger by a wasp or something, you might feel like you really have to scratch the itch.
Yeah, and again, with acute, I've always found easier to deal with acute pain. Chronic pain's difficult or different. So my feeling and what I've found in my life, the only way I can deal when chronic pain occurs again and again and again, when that happens, is to really go back on the teachings I've had about the difference between the sensation of pain and the suffering because of it. Generally speaking, when we have pain, suffering is so close, it's velcroed onto it. It's as if pain and suffering are the same thing. They're not. They really are not. And so the teachings I've had which show you that you can separate the sensation, whatever sensation it is, the sensation of anger, the sensation of pain, the sensation of anything like that that will distract you. If you can separate that from suffering itself, it teaches you an awful lot. It teaches you that you decide if you suffer or not. You don't decide on the pain, you've no choice. This is a human body with all its frailties. You will have pain. Live long enough and you'll have more pain. I guarantee it. But it is your choice whether you suffer from it or not, whether you invest in it, whether you try to ignore it, whether you fear it, whether you invest it with all the memories of before. That you can control. Is it easy? Not always. With practice, it becomes a wee bit easier. And if you've seen any research on this, you can see quite clearly that really it's intuitive to us to dwell on suffering and pain. In the Dharma, it kind of sounds counterintuitive, but what you're really doing is you're acknowledging it. You're tolerating it. You're being kind to yourself. You're accepting it. And you're saying, I will definitely deal with you later. And research has shown that if you can almost, I don't mean welcome the pain, but it's kind of leaning like that. Tolerate it, acknowledge, be kind, accept it, that it reduces the stress hormones. Research is quite clear. If you reduce stress hormones, as you know, then you reduce inflammation. And inflammation and pain go hand in hand. If you accept it, you tolerate it, you start being kind to yourself, what happens to your body, you deepen your breathing. If you deepen your breathing, you will reduce those stress hormones. If you accept and welcome in some way and tolerate and be kind, your blood pressure lowers. What happens when all that happens? It produces endorphins. It produces endorphins. And of course, that's a natural painkiller. So you're looking at someone, when the pain gets bad, they grab the tablet, okay? Please don't think I'm going around going, oh, this is my pain. No, welcome pain. But if I'm in meditation or I'm doing something that I want to continue, I will employ that. I will. And then sometimes I make the choice to take a tablet. And if it's really bad, I'll make an appointment with my doctor. So you employ all of this. But what can meditation do? Meditation, especially stabilizing meditation, especially not so much the analytical, but the stabilizing meditation, watching the breath. Your breath deepens, your blood pressure reduces, your stress hormones, actually research has shown you can almost eliminate them, and it will produce natural endorphins. And suddenly you feel better. A really decent stabilizing meditation, a concentration meditation, gentle, kind, accepting, very helpful. And you have to learn to do that. If you ever do long-term retreat, you really need to learn how to do that. But you need to know also when to grab the bottle of tablets, you know what I mean? When to make an appointment with your doctor. But meditation there's quite a lot of research that's been done. I mean, it's not double-blind or anything like that, and it tends to be related, the research tends to be related to different types of pain, particularly back pain. There's a lot of research on back pain when it comes to that. But changing your posture, fantastic. Standing up, just altering, especially if the pain is in your joints, the back of the neck, you know. It's relaxing. If you study yoga, practice yoga, it's said that yoga and meditation together can do an awful lot to reduce pain. It's not my practice. I tried for a long time, but unfortunately I found it boring, and I'm not good at things that bore me. But the people I know that practice yoga, perfect. It's a perfect accompaniment to meditation. I highly recommend it. But if you have chronic pain, you have to learn how to deal with that in a way that you can still meditate. And the only way that I find that really works is accepting, acknowledging, being kind, single-pointed concentration, that helps. And then trying to make the choice not to suffer. I have no choice over the pain, but I have some over how much I suffer with it. And then at other times, you just have to let go of your meditation, quickly dedicate, and go and lie down and be kind to yourself. There's a whole smorgasbord of stuff you can do. But ignoring it is not good. Alan Wallace tells the story, when you're in long-term retreat, he had many students in long-term retreat, and when you do long-term retreat, especially on shamatha, you can get various pains, and some of these pains are a direct result of the meditation, and others are medical problems. And he has good talk to all his students that do long-term retreat. And he said students had certain pains, they thought it was to do with the meditation. And one man ended up almost with a burst appendix, got lifted off an island because he put up with the pain, put up with the pain, put up with the pain, and almost nearly killed himself. This is a precious human life, don't kill yourself. So that's I know that's extreme, but somewhere in that continuum, you practice all of this. And I think the biggest way, try and identify what's causing it. What type of things cause pain, do you think? Do you think fear can cause pain? Anger, depression, these type of things can lead to pain. These type of ideas, while being very real, can actually cause pain. So finding the source of your pain is important, whether it's a mental problem or whether it's a completely physical problem. Diet becomes important. Hydration becomes important. You don't ignore any of that. So you do what you would normally do within a meditation setting, but add to it meditation techniques. And sovereign amongst all of it, if you can do it, if you can practice, get good teachings on it, is to understand there is a difference. You can't control pain, but you can control suffering to an extent. Some people can control it to a great extent. Some people to a smaller extent, that it can be done. Anyone else? Yes, Dan.
I'm quite lucky that I don't suffer a lot with pain, but I find sometimes if I get a bit stressed, it can affect my stomach and things. But I find if I actually focus on breathing into the pain itself and trying to relax the area, that really helps. Now, I don't think that would help with like chronic, really, severe pain, but it certainly helps me with minor pain.
Yes.
Breathing into the area and just trying to relax it and use the breath, like you said.
And you can do that with or without visualization.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect way of doing it, breathing into the pain and focusing on that area and just mentally just relaxing that one particular area, breathing into it.
Yeah.
And you can use a visualization where you're breathing in white light, white healing light. And as you breathe out, you're breathing out from that particular area, black smoke that holds the pain.
So you're breathing out the pain, really.
Yeah. You can do it stabilizing by simply focusing, relaxing. Doing nothing else, no mental activity, focus, relax. That can work. Or you can bring in analysis to it, where you build up a visualization of breathing in the white light. And as you breathe out, the black smoke which carries the pain disappears. So you can do both. Excellent. Good. Anyone else?
It's Annabelle here, Mary.
Hi, Annabelle.
Do you think that like having a kind of very sort of rigid thought about something can cause pain? Because I don't have any pain in my body, but when I sit down to meditate, I often have a very strong stiffness in the right shoulder. And as I continue to meditate, that can actually become so intense that it's you could say it's pain. But when I'm walking around, I don't have that pain at all. And I've kind of tried to wonder what it would be, and I come to the conclusion that that's some kind of like I've got this intense, well, it might be fear, but I've been trying to say to myself, what is the thought behind this pain I'm so attached to that it's almost unconscious. I don't know if any of that makes sense.
It does. So I think it's very good to bring to mind just how close the body and the mind are. I mean, they're so interlinked.
Mm-hmm.
The mind and is not the brain. The brain is part of the body, but it's closely linked. There's a strong correlation between mind and body. And if your mind isn't right, your body will feel it. And if your body isn't right, it can affect how you're thinking. So it's very, very close. And sometimes we don't acknowledge that. And we blame everything on the body or blame everything on the mind. And if we do that, what we tend to look for, well, I'm only going to look for a mental method, or I'm just going to look for a physical method, because although the body and mind are separate, they're linked. So you really have to employ both ways. So when you're sitting, sometimes shoulder is that happens a lot with people, and often a result of literally sitting for a long time in one position. It's very difficult. So there's physical things you can do for that. I don't know if I remember, Wendy will remember, but there was a physiotherapist on a course we were on, and she had a tennis ball, and she put the tennis ball here against a wall and started to move around, just massaging that area before the meditation. And after the meditation, that helped many people. I'm not just saying that, but there'll be quite a few physical things you can do on top of the mental things you could do. They're too closely linked to ever separate it out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good to do both. And it is normal. It is really. This happens all the time. And the interesting thing is you might go weeks and weeks, months, and you sit down, you get your posture right, everything's hunky-dory. And one day you sit down and you can't focus, you've got pain in your shoulder, your knees are killing you. When you're meditating, it's not incremental success. It's like a wave. Sometimes it goes really well, and sometimes it goes really badly. Sometimes the pain and discomfort is high, sometimes it's not. And there could be weeks in between it. But with continuous practice, what happens is, yes, you get the wave, but when the wave settles, it's kind of at a higher level. Do you know what I mean? It's, the waves come, but they're not as high. The dips are not so low. The more you meditate, the more even that becomes. But you will still have days where it's just rubbish, you know. You have to accept that.
Thank you.
And I know that of which I speak, so. Is that okay, Annabelle?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
Good. Okay, maybe one more if anyone's got something. David? He's not looking.
Hi, can you hear me now?
I can, David.
I beg your pardon. This is a bit grand, and I don't for one moment think that I'm claiming to be able to do it, but I've read that you can take the other people's pain and I think the notion is not that it helps them, but it might help me.
It's possible. Like Tom Len?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have a view on that?
Yes, I mean, within this context, I think within this context, I would say it's taking on other people's pain. If you have a very strong bodhicitta motivation, may be helpful. To be able to stop what you're doing and do a few minutes of Tonglen can be helpful. It can be helpful. If you're familiar with the practice and you have a strong bodhicitta motivation, that it can be helpful. Compassion can deal with so much. Taking other people's pain and transforming it into loving kindness for yourself. Take with compassion, give with loving kindness. Wonderful. Another way you can do it is the first time I was taught this, or I just thought these people were absolutely mad. But you're sometimes advised in the Dharma to try and escalate your pain. So sit with it and mentally make it worse. Push it up there. Stay with this, increase the pain, stay with it, and then come back to your normal level of pain. And sometimes that...
That's like banging your head on the wall. It's nice when it stops.
You go back. Interestingly, I've when I did a lot of multi-faith things and I talked to people in different faith, they've all got something like that in it. I remember a Jewish rabbi once saying, "Oh, that's just like this story on this rabbi." And so it seems to be in a lot of cultures and a lot of religions. Escalate it in some way. Mentally be there, and then when you reduce it to what it actually is, suddenly it becomes more, you can deal with it better. When I was first taught that, I thought, get me out of here. These people are mad as anything. It's not something I do myself, but people swear by it. People swear by it. I tend to swear at it, but yeah. But it's interesting. That's taught in quite a few cultures. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So what I'd like you to do now is maybe take a bit of a stretch, just for a minute or two. Move yourself around because we're going to do a meditation. So sip your drink and move around. Get yourself kind of loose.
Have you had a look in here?
I had a peek in here,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Yeah. And I had
So I'm just trying to see if everyone's back. I see a thumb from Dan and Noreen, but that's about it. They're lying down maybe. This might be a good time to change your posture, you know. Maybe try standing up. Maybe try lying down. Yeah. Maybe, I'm not saying to do so, I'm just saying it might be useful. Comfort and relaxation is crucial. If you're lying on your back, support your head nicely. Be comfortable. Arms by your side, but slightly away from your body, palms upward. Okay. So we're going to do 2 meditations to deal with difficulties and intrusions that might be quite difficult to deal with, pain included. They require both analytical and stabilizing meditations. One's called the hollow body meditation, the other one's called the body of light. So we'll go smoothly from one to the other. So in your own time, please begin relaxing. Actually, I'll go through it then. It's good to go through it. So draw the mind inward. Becoming interested in how your whole body is reacting to each in-breath and out-breath. How your whole body is reacting to each in-breath and out-breath. Allowing one part of your mind to scan your body from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes, noting any area of tension or pain, doing nothing about it yet, but simply continue with the scan. With no change in your breath, with no effort. Simply notice now that on each out-breath, the tension flows away from the body naturally on each out-breath. Noticing the smoothness of your forehead. The full relaxation of your facial muscles. And how spacious. The area around the eyes and between the eyes. Noticing how an inward smile will unclench your jaw. And your lips, instead of being clenched, are just gently touching. Your shoulders give up the burden and drop to a much more comfortable, relaxed position. And you focus your awareness now on the movement of the breath with the movement of the abdomen with the breath. So you're narrowing your focus, being with the full movement of the breath and how your abdomen is responsive. In and out, up and down. Be with it completely. And as you've narrowed your awareness, from this moment, try to be still. Try not to move. Helpful. And gently scan your body, making sure that no area is tensed up again. You place your awareness now on the in-breath. No effort involved. No change in the rhythm of your breath. Simply notice that on each in-breath, your mind is becoming brighter. On each in-breath, your mind becoming sharp, clear. Now place your attention at the center of your chest. Fill your mind with your attention of the center of your chest. And now with analysis, begin to imagine that all your internal organs, all your organs internal, begin to dissolve into light. Just your internal organs. And the light transforms into empty space. And your skin is still there, but everything within the rest of your body begins to dissolve into light. All of your chest, your arms, your legs, everything dissolving into light. Everything within the rest of your body. And as everything internally gradually dissolves into light, this light gradually dissolves into empty space. The outline of your body, the skin, transforms now into a very thin membrane of light, which is enclosing this empty space. Letting go of the analysis, now stabilize your mind on the experience of your body being hollow, like a balloon, with very gentle awareness. When the mind wanders, just gently bring it back to this thin membrane of skin, which is dissolved into light, encircling empty space. And gradually, the meditation reverses. Your whole body now, from empty space, transforms into clear light, almost like a liquid light, beginning to fill the outline of your body. And gradually this light transforms into the organs of your body and your limbs, slowly, until you're once again whole, complete. Let go of the analysis and stabilize your mind on this complete, regenerated body. Let's hold it gently. And now we change this meditation to a different one. So what to do now is, in your own time, take 3 breaths deep into your abdomen, let your abdomen swell. Breathe out, long out breath. Do that 3 times. Then focus the breath on the sensation of the breath at the nostrils. So you're taking 3 deep breaths, 3 long out breaths, then refocus the breath at the nostrils, the sensation. So visualize in the space just above your head a sphere of white light. This light is full of universal love, compassion, and wisdom. It has the ability to fulfill your own highest potential. Visualize this sphere of white light becoming smaller, more intense, yet still pure, transparent, energized. Try to feel, visualize, try to feel it's there just above the crown of your head. Continue to decrease its size until it's about 1 inch in diameter. The sphere lowers, touches the crown of your head, and moves through the crown, down the body, until it reaches your heart, the center of your chest. Visualize, feel it there. And now at the center of your chest, this sphere of white light, which holds all your love and goodness and kindness and wisdom, begins to expand. As it expands, it dissolves all the solid parts of your body into light. It expands until it fills your entire body, dissolving all the solid parts into light. All problems, all negativities completely vanished. You're in a state of wholeness and perfection. Let go of the analysis and concentrate on the experience of the body as a body of light. Try to hold it gently with your mind. Allow your mind to fill with serenity and joyfulness. With any thoughts or distraction, simply dissolving into the white light. They have no purchase. They just dissolve into the white light. Focus. And gradually your body begins to reform, but it's reforming itself from the white light until you're once again whole, born from the light. And when it's complete, focus. Thank you. So in your groups, which is going to happen next, I'd like you to discuss your experience of two of those meditations, what your experiences were. And also, if you feel they might be useful to you, generally speaking, once you learn how to do it quickly, do you think it would be useful to you or not? 15 minutes, and I'll see you again.
So thank you. Okay. They should all be coming back.
Welcome back. So how did your discussions go? You know, what was your experience of it? Especially visualization, because you know, sometimes analytical is fine if you're thinking your way through something. Visualization is also analytical, but it's asking for different sets of skills, really. So how did you experience those two meditations, and do you think that they may be useful to you in the future? Speak to me, people.
Hello.
Who's speaking? Hello.
Alfredo.
Alfredo, hello.
Yeah, hello.
I'm not saying anybody's name. Okay. Hello, my dear.
Hello. Thanks. Can you all hear me? I hope my Zoom is working. Yeah. Today it's been working very well. I chose now for this meditation lying down, and I remember again that I should practice it more, because I almost never do it. I either sit or walk or sometimes stand up, but almost never lie down. And I get into full relaxing mode.
Yes, you do.
Very easily. So I could focus the first moments, and then I started losing it a little. But I was discussing with Line also that maybe because of a very new visualization, I had probably never tried this visualization of imagining my organs dissolving into light and so on. At some point, I switched off. I was only more or less, not only, I was kind of trying to keep up with the practice, but conceptually, I switched off a lot. And it happens to me sometimes when I feel like overstimulated or overstimulated.
Yeah.
So interesting for me to see my, I guess, how my mind is reacting to a new exercise.
Yes.
But reminded me of our Shamatha retreat last year, when I also tried sometimes lying down and feeling I cannot, because there, for example, I tend to relax too much and fall to sleep.
Yeah.
Something similar. I should try to practice it more, because at the point, if I'm lucky enough, I will get sick and close to death being conscious, and it will be the only way to meditate. So it's good to remember this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to make lying down the supine position, Alan calls the recovery position or the infirmary position. So if you have a problem, that's a very good way to do it, because most difficulties can be resolved through deep relaxation. And there's nothing more conducive to deep relaxation than the corpse position, nothing. The problem is, as you know, that when you lie down and you're still, the body and mind thinks sleep. So the mind can become very dull. It's tricky, it's a balance. Generally speaking, the corpse position, the supine position is better for stabilizing meditation, shamatha type meditations, concentration. It is said that not always the best for heavy analytical meditation. However, for analytical meditation involving visualization can be very useful lying down. So the thing to do is practice it, see if it will be of use to you. Once you become familiar with it, it might be easier. But if it is too overstimulating, then maybe after a while of practicing and it remains overstimulating, it's fine. You can leave it. There's so many different types of meditation. You don't have to be able to do them all. I think the best thing about these types of visualizations is that relatively easy to do. Complex visualizations for many of us very difficult. But these visualizations are actually very straightforward. And there's a close feeling. And that's why you're getting overstimulated, because you're dissolving into light and the light is dissolving into space. The feeling of that really energizes you. It can come up. So I would say keep practicing it. See if you can come to a stage where it's not too stimulating. But if not, there's plenty of other meditations for sure. Thank you, Alfredo. Yes, my dear. I'm not seeing anybody's names, you see, so I think I see.
It's Linda Ven Mary.
Hiya.
Hiya.
I need my glasses more and more.
I haven't done that meditation before.
Okay.
And Lindsay and I were discussing it, and it's very powerful, isn't it? And the fact that you're dissolving into light and your organs are dissolving and things like that was quite an interesting experience. But I wondered what is the purpose of it? Is it to help you understand emptiness or spaciousness? What's the idea?
All of the above. All of the above. So seeing that things are impermanent. Impermanence is your best friend in Buddha Dharma, you know. I know, like, overall compassion, loving kindness for sure. But the best analytical meditation that will be your best friend until you reach a real understanding and experience of emptiness is impermanence. So seeing your body dissolve and reform gives you a strong feeling of impermanence. And if you dissolve things so on one hand you've got the dissolving, on the other hand you've got impermanence. And what happens if these two become more of a reality to you is nothing sticks to it. No bad thoughts, no bad feelings, no pain. There is nothing for it to stick to.
Oh.
Easy to dissolve that. Easy to dissolve. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Sure.
It's Diane.
Where are you now?
I'm here.
I'm not looking for it.
I really enjoyed both of those meditations.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't want to come back.
Yeah.
I really, especially the first one.
The hollow body.
Yeah, I just wanted not to come back. I could have just stayed there. Just needed to say that, really.
It's very effective. I mean, it is. I find I'm not very good at visualizing. It's not my forte, but these two, this type of visualization, I find extremely effective.
Thank you. It was lovely.
I'm glad. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, Mary, it's Louise.
Hello, Louise.
Hello. Yeah, I kind of same as Diane. I had a real reluctance to reform my body both times. And on the first one, when the skin turned the light and the kind of the spaciousness in, I had an immediate thought of, oh, I'm in the bardo, and then thought to myself, that's not the purpose of this meditation, and then paused it and then carried on with meditation. But yeah, that was a bit strange. But yeah, didn't want to reform my body at all.
Yeah, I understand that. One way around that, I mean, that happens to many people, right? Because it's not just a pleasant feeling, but there's a freedom in it. It's almost like you're totally free. It's amazing. So one way to deal with this, I think, is to, before you do the meditation, really what you're doing, it's not just the impermanence, the emptiness, but in dissolving that way, whether it's dissolving into light and dissolving in space, before you do the meditation, think to yourself, what I'm doing is deconstructing the ignorance that I have about my body and mind. Deconstructing, right? Deconstructing the wisdom, the ignorance. And when you reform your body, you reform it with wisdom. And in that way, while you're reforming your body, even more of a joy can arise, because your internal organs, your limbs begin to reform, but you're imagining that this is reforming from wisdom. Wisdom from what? From the impermanence, the emptiness, there's nothing to stick to it. Pain is dissolving, discomfort is... If you think of it that way, then you won't get stuck in the deconstruction, although it's very helpful. Space-like nature of the body, especially space-like nature of the mind. I personally, if you get that well, stay with it for as long as you can. It's very helpful.
Thank you.
But when it starts to change and you start to get a bit busy, start to reconstruct your body, but reconstruct it with wisdom. Mm-hmm. This is what the white light and the empty space represents. So the body you end up with again is not the old body. It's a body that's reconstructed from wisdom. And in that way, you can take joy, not just in the hollow body or the body of light, but you take joy in reconstructing it. Okay, I can take one more. Anyone? You've had enough, I'm not surprised. Okay, so homework. Now you can choose whatever meditation you like. My choice would be to do impermanence again. You can't do this often enough. And if anything happens with the meditation, anything's happened, use the methods to deal with excitation and dullness. But if you can, if something occurs, try to dissolve it into either the hollow body or the body of light. Don't take too long about it, but do it and then come back to your meditation and finish your meditation. Now choose the meditation you want to do. Some of you are studying emptiness at the moment, I know. Maybe do an emptiness meditation. For some people might choose something else, maybe the precious human rebirth or whatever. But if you're not sure, I highly recommend impermanence, because it's quite meaty. Impermanence is quite meaty in the analysis. And the second part of your homework, it's going to be on chat, but if you can Google lionsroar.com, L-I-O-N-S, lions, R-O-A-R, lionsroar.com, /walking meditation. The first one that shows is the one I tend to use, but there's a few in there. But have a read, get the main points of it, and practice walking meditation as described there. I think you'll find it helpful, especially if it's a lovely day. So before we do closing prayers, any comments or any final questions or? No? Okay. So, we reflect on our motivation again. What were you aiming for? What did you decide your motivation was? Between then and now, you've created a lot of positive. I mean, this energy is very precious. You want to save it. You want to benefit it from in the future. So gather this positive energy mentally. Direct it towards achieving what you're motivated for. And then if you're happy to do so, we can do the prayer. May whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings and all transmigratory beings. In particular, may it cause the essence of the perfect pure Losang Dragma's teachings to shine forever. When you finish the prayer, don't just stop. You finish the prayer, focus, just hold it for a few seconds. Thank you very much. So we have one day left tomorrow, and it's all day. Okay, I'm hoping you'll be able to join us for the whole day. And let's see, we've got the energy for one more day. Listen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary.
I'm so pleased you joined for today. Thank you very much.
Mary, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Ven Mary.
Thank you, Ven Mary.
Thank you.